Hello, friends. Pastor Wayne here. As we continue to shelter in place, I wanted to encourage you with a few thoughts on this last Lenten Sunday in March 2020. Recently, I was passing a church here in my hometown in Quincy, and it said, although things are canceled, love is not canceled. I thought that was fantastic. And in Attleboro, just down the street from Second Congregational Church, I ran across this sign. It said, still the church, just not here. A few others, for example, isolated but not forgotten, developing an online community, and so on. And you may recall the poster. I have a copy of it right here. Keep calm and carry on. This, I looked into it, I thought this was widely distributed during the Second World War in England, but it wasn't. 2.5 million copies were made, but they were not distributed, and only a few survived today. They were recycled during the time. But the message for the British people of persistence and sticking with it was a fantastic reminder to not panic and to do your duty. That's the message that they got. Well, what's our duty now? Our duty now is to stay home. Our duty now is to wash our hands. Our duty now is to continue to remember the needy, to open our hearts, to let our faith deepen during this time of exile, really. And in the Bible, there are many times when we're told not to be afraid. Fear not. I think of one passage in Isaiah. It says, do not fear. It's from the Hebrew Bible. For I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. I know who you are. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And through the rivers, they will not overwhelm you. When you walk through the fire, it shall not burn you, and the flame shall not consume you. For I am the Lord your God, the Holy One of Israel, your Savior. And you say, well, Pastor Wayne, this is crazy because bad things happen to good people. Bad things happen to bad people. Things happen. There is no respecter of person. The rain falls on the just and the unjust, as the Hebrew Bible tells us. But what does it mean? Such faith means that even if something terrible happens to me, I'm going to continue to believe in the goodness of the universe. I'm going to continue to believe in the goodness of God. It's like a parent saying to her child, hey, I'm not going to let anything happen to you. And we know that that's what parents say. I know that's what I've said to my kids. And yet still things happen that are beyond our control. So it's a call to resolution and not retreat. It's a call to trust and practice, if only from afar. And that's where we are today. That's where we find ourselves today. The things that we know to be true and right. It's the kind of faith that was similar to the British wartime imperative. In the presence of an enemy, whether it's in sky or sea or microbe, continue to be vigilant and watch out. I worked as a chaplain at a inner city Boston hospital. And I remember walking into a patient's room. I hadn't met him before. The curtains were closed, and the sun was shining in through them. Nevertheless, kind of like this orange backdrop here. This is my daughter's old bedroom. We haven't taken down the backdrop here, so that's where I am in my makeshift office here at home. But the curtains were closed, and I said, "Well, you got the curtains closed. It's such a beautiful day out there. You want me to open them up?" And he said, well, I'd open them up, but I can't move. I said, oh, you can't move? He said, no, I'm a quadriplegic. And I spent the next half an hour with him, and I'll never forget one of the lines that he said to me. He said, there was a before the accident and there was an after the accident. He said, I had no problems before. Friends, our problems may be huge. They may seem overwhelming. But when you consider the fact that we are called to this place of during this queasy quarantine time, a gratefulness instead of a panic, and a resolution in the face of uncertainty, because we certainly don't know what's ahead. We don't know how long this is going to last. I want to end with this poem, which is really kind of a prayer. It's not a prayer, but it's written by Lynn Unger just 2 weeks ago. She wrote it. It's entitled Pandemic. Maybe you've seen it. She writes, what if you thought of it as the Jews consider the Sabbath, the most sacred of times? Cease from travel, cease from buying and selling, give up just for now on trying to make the world different than it is. Sing, pray, touch only those to whom you commit your life. Center down. And when your body has become still, reach out with your heart. Know that we are connected in ways that are terrifying and beautiful. You could hardly deny it now. Know that our lives are in one another's hands. Surely that has come clear. Do not reach out your hands, reach out your heart, reach out your words, reach out all the tendrils of compassion that move invisibly where we cannot touch. Promise this world your love, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, so long as we all shall live. That's a beautiful poem and a prayer. Beloved, fear not. God knows who you are and loves you beyond measure, and we do too. School, work, business as usual may be canceled, but love is not canceled. We will get through this together. Keep calm and carry on.